On Christmas Eve in Edinburgh, the wife of Detective Sergeant Bruce Robertson goes for a walk around the city. Finding herself in a subway tunnel, the woman becomes an accidental witness to a crime. A crowd of hooligans attacks a Japanese tourist and takes his life, then safely escapes. Bruce adores her and the locals because they are the best in the world and always responsive. Of course, in some cases they show their character and middle finger, but this only adds to their charm. Once at work, the detective does not miss the opportunity to fart to make his colleagues feel uncomfortable. Bruce dreams of getting the vacant detective inspector position and sees the others as potential competitors. Running for the position are Gilman, a typical Scottish cop with racist tendencies, Peter Inglis, whom Bruce suspects of being unconventional, and newcomer Ray Lennox, who loves white powder. Other competitors include Gus Bain, a retired cop with no intelligence, and a young girl, Amanda Dran, whom Bruce believes to be an easily accessible hottie who can only get promoted through betting. At the end of the meeting, the boss Bob assigns Bruce to investigate the crime committed in the tunnel. He has the trust of his boss, who dreams of becoming a screenwriter, and the leverage to find and catch the criminals. Dreaming of getting a promotion, Bruce doesn't shy away from all sorts of means on the way to his goal. Working with Ray, he recalls how they had fun with an easily accessible girl, after which it became clear that the young detective has a small dignity. Having discovered the first suspect, Bruce and Ray track him down. The guy is in the company of an underage girl, which allows them to blackmail him and force him to cooperate with the investigation. At the same time, the amoral policeman does not miss the opportunity to have fun with the girl in the bedroom and pressurize the suspect, using unconventional methods of interrogation. Another victim of Bruce's cunning games becomes Dougie's wife, with whom he makes love. The Scotsman suspects his wife of infidelity, but Bruce does not allow such a thought, at the same time trying to stratify his colleagues in the service. One day, walking through the city, Bruce notices a man who feels ill. He asks to call an ambulance and tries to resuscitate the man, but all attempts are futile. At the same time, Bruce continues to see the ghost of his deceased younger brother, haunting him throughout his life. Acute mental illness and hallucinations continue to develop, so the detective turns to Dr. Rossi. In the evening, Bruce watches an adult video and decides to engage in handjobbing, but doesn't enjoy it. Deciding to have a little fun, he calls his best friend's wife, continuing to terrorize her like a true maniac. Meeting Clifford, Bruce visits a Masonic lodge and steals a comrade's money to buy some powder. The boss reminds him that the search for the phone bully is fruitless and asks him to close the case as soon as possible. The next morning, Bruce visits the comrade's wife and suggests not rejecting the maniac, but flirting with him, believing that this will relieve him of his desire to terrorize the unfortunate one. However, he realizes that she is too frightened. On his way out, the detective meets Mary, the widow of the deceased man he failed to save. She seems to be the only one who brings him back to reality and makes him a normal person. Upon returning home, Bruce dabbles in illegal substances, causing him to catch hallucinations and see the doctor in a nightmare. At work, the man also ceases to control himself and writes about Peter's unconventional sexual orientation to embarrass him in front of the whole team. Continuing to pursue the case of the Japanese man, Bruce visits a brothel and takes biological materials of the alleged criminals. Soon a party is organized at the police station. Bruce notices Rie trying to seduce the boss's secretary and suggests playing a game. The men must scan their genitals on a printer, after which the women will try to guess the owner of the photo. Ray embarrasses himself with his gherkin, and Bruce increases the size of his dignity to impress the secretary. In the end, he manages to make love to the boss's assistant, during which she exposes his deception. Continuing to antagonize the staff, Bruce pays a guy with a non-traditional orientation to pretend to be an acquaintance of Peter's. Finding himself in an awkward position, The policeman tries to justify himself, but gets hit in the jaw. Instead of continuing the investigation, Bruce weaves intrigues and begins to get entangled in them, creating more problems for himself. Taking a vacation, he escapes with his best friend to Hamburg, where he has fun in a brothel and breaks Clifford's glasses to play a joke on him. At a bar, Bruce slips a couple of fun pills into his comrade's cocktail, which results in him dancing in the company of guys of unconventional orientation. Bruce continues to be haunted by frightening hallucinations in which he sees a pig's face and other frightening animals. In one of the easily available girls, the man recognizes his return to Edinburgh. Bruce learns that he has been removed from leading the investigation and Amanda has taken over the case. His colleagues argue among themselves, but Bruce pulls himself together when he sees Mary and her son. She sets the policeman as an example to her son, believing that he is a good man. Talking to Ray, Bruce learns that he has decided to quit powder in order to apply for the inspector's job. Once again, immersed in his game of lies, Bruce convinces the newcomer that those around him are enemies to him and want to embarrass him in front of his superiors. His wife demands that her husband get a promotion, but his plans and hopes are slowly falling apart. He revisits old videos of his wife and daughter with tears in his eyes, after which he remembers the telephone terrorism. This time the comrade's wife does not reject the bully, but makes him horny and enjoy her interesting conversations. Alcohol, laundry detergent, and easily available girls continue to be central to the detective's life. The hallucinations continue to intensify, but he cannot return to his normal life, seeing an elephant's head instead of his colleague's face. Bruce tries to escape, and his boss reprimands him for his inappropriate appearance. He is ready to fire his subordinate if he fails to catch the phone bully, and Bruce decides to go to extreme measures. Inviting Clifford to his place, he gets him drunk and learns that he is terrorizing his own wife. The next morning, Bruce turns on an audio tape to his companion's wife and engages in division by zero with her. The hallucinations become more and more real, resulting in Bruce finding himself in the women's restroom and not realizing himself how he got here. He has a fight with Amanda, but she tries to support him in his time of need. She is sure that Bruce is a good policeman, but he should get smart and quit his bad habits. Losing control of himself, Bruce beats up Clifford in the cell and almost becomes a victim of his overbearing wife Dougie, who tried to strangle him during the division by zero. At some point, the pathetic cop realizes that his wife Carol and daughter left him long ago, and he doesn't know the reason why. All this time, he has been communicating with his beloved only in his hallucinations, dressing up in women's clothes and walking the streets. During one of these walks, he witnessed a group of hooligans taking the life of an unfortunate Japanese tourist. Taking to the streets once again in his wife's outfit, Bruce is victimized by the hooligans. They catch and beat him, after which they take him to the building of an abandoned office. Here, the gang leader decides to take the life of a witness, but at some point tries to kiss Bruce. The policeman finds the strength and throws the guy out the window, after which he is found by Peter and Amanda. As a result of what happened, Bruce is demoted to constable, and the title of inspector is given to Ray. Now the guy has a strong character and easily teases his colleague, reminding him who of them is truly pathetic. In the supermarket, Bruce notices his wife and daughter, realizing that they left him and went to a dark-skinned lover. Everyone has turned their backs on the former detective except Mary and her son. She sincerely sympathizes with the man and offers to meet at his house in the coming days. Some time later, Bruce takes a shower and ignores the calls. He is tired of such a life and decides to do something good. Putting on his constable's uniform, he writes down an appeal to the freed Clifford and asks him to forgive him. Bruce gives useful advice to reconcile with his beloved wife and calls him the only true friend. After that, the man constructs a noose from a scarf given to Mary and prepares a chair to stop living. At the last moment, he sees Mary and her son appear behind the glass of the front door. He does not want to take his life at that moment and waits until they leave. With tears in his eyes, Bruce utters his favorite phrase for the last time in his life. The rules are the same everywhere, after which the chair breaks, and he leaves this world forever. You are on the channel on Recap Roman. Don't forget to subscribe and put a like to not miss